Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the LA Sevens. This one, Fiji taking on the Australians. Now, Fiji did suffer a defeat in their opening contest up against New Zealand, but we have just seen the Spanish get the win over the Kiwis, which does mean this group is completely wide open. Australia, if they can somehow pull off the victory over the Fijians here, they will be all but confirmed to make it through to the next stage. But their starting lineup: Henry Hutchinson, Ben Dowling, Aiden Akanayaki, Henry Patterson, Maurice Longbottom, Ben Dalton, and James Turner close out the starting seven for the Fijians. It is going to be Kavakini, Tani Vanua Kula, Georgie Nasova, Seven Mothenofangi, Tario Vailawa, Felipe Saturanga, Manuele Mai, and Tera Wailangi, the last man in the starting side. But we are just about at the kickoff. That New Zealand versus Spain game ran a little bit long because they were having a bit of push and shove near the halftime break, which is why we had to rush all of the names there. Why did Spain and New Zealand get low score? Because no one was able to score tries. They really equaled each other quite nicely, and also quite a few knock-ons that caused a bit of a lower scoring one, but nicely taken by Maurice Longbottom. The Australians will get themselves the first position, or position, I should say, of this match. We have got there, is that a philosophical question? Says return of Cool Story Bro, and here we go again. Says Pleasure Tossa Fitti. Says Nasal, and let's go Flying Fijians. Says Lilia B. And there as well. But I believe the Australians have got themselves the penalty here. Looks like they are going to go for the quick tap. Maurice Longbottom, one of the more experienced heads out there for the Australians, will go off to Henry Hutchinson, who also has a fair share of caps to his name. Patterson goes across to James Turner. Thought about offloading on the inside to Patterson, but decides against it. Kanayaki does play the halfback role. Back across to the left again. The defence of Fiji has to be strong. Manuele Mai makes a good tackle there. Let's go the Flying Fijians. Says Lilia B. Short pass to Kanayaki. Good. Attack and run forward. Henry Hutchinson back across to the right-hand side. To Henry Patterson again. Big shot on him. Seven Mothenofangi forces the error. And now it's going to be the scrum feed for the Fijians. I'm going for a 12-7 for the Aussie, says Xander. Okay, so going with a relatively low-scoring game in that regard as well. Right, scrum looks like it is all set and ready to go. They are getting all set, like they are saying. Georgie Nasova at the moment on the same amount of tries as Marcos Mineta, or at least very close to it. So whoever manages to get more of them throughout this tournament will be crowned as the leading try scorer of the season. Nice step from Nasova. He's showing exactly why he is leading the charge. Thought about the offload now, gives it away to Manuele Mai. Fiji breaking through with Tario Vailawa. 35 metres out. Tries the offload. Finds Seven Mothenofangi. Wrestled down by Maurice Longbottom. Gets back up to his feet. Nasova leaves it for the Rio Vailawa again. Now Tera Wailangi finds the offload on the outside. Now they are missing Josefa Talatholo, so they haven't got that long, lanky type of build out on the wing. But Tera Wailangi still a big man. Can make an impact, and he has decided to take the quick tap there after Australia give away another penalty. Back across to the right-hand side, numbers for days, but what a sell of the dummy that was from Tario Vailawa. Goes straight through and scores the try for the Fijians. What a massive sell of the dummy from Tario Vailawa. Sold Maurice Longbottom the complete wrong way. Also slipped in the process. They're probably lucky that he didn't do some sort of ankle. Tario Vailawa, when he's in the starting lineup, he scores tries. When he's off the bench, normally he doesn't get enough time to score as many as he'd like. But that one has gone over for Fiji, making the score now 7-0. After 3.5 minutes. Kicked up high. Waiting for this one to come down. Slapped back by the Fijians with Felipe Saturanga. It was a knock-on from Australia, so once again, we'll go back into a scrum. That'll be another frustrating one there for the Aussies, as they have had multiple handling errors already throughout the first 4 minutes of this half. Currently ranked 6th in the overall standings. Fijians, they are sitting in second. You look tired, says Mohadin. I've been up for 19 hours, something like that. And throughout that time, we've probably done about 7 hours of streaming, so that probably makes sense. Every time I predict a high-scoring game, my expectations are also high. So if it's a low-scoring game, I'm disappointed. Now I'm only predicting low scores so they can exceed my expectations. Okay. I guess it makes sense in terms of the psychology of it. And Women's China 14-0 over South Africa at the moment, says Kevin. Now ready to put this ball in, it will be Tario Vailawa. A matchup that I wish we could have seen, but sadly we don't get to. Fiji versus Samoa, that is always a must-see contest, and we don't even get to see it next year either, because even if Samoa finish near the top of the bunch, they will not be promoted to the next season because of the change. We can do it with a win Australia, says JD, and if Australia do manage to get themselves a win here, they would pretty much confirm their spot through to the next stage. Now, of course, there is still plenty that can happen in that New Zealand versus Australia game, but in terms of the wins that they've been able to get, I believe they would still make their way through. Henry Hutchinson tackled just out from his own goal line. Another penalty goes the way of Australia this time. It's a tricky one at the moment for Australia. They found themselves stuck inside of their own 22 when they're trying to get an attack going, and the gaps just haven't really been opening up. That one is going to be kicked in a Dutch by the Australians. Australia only scored 7 tries in Singapore, their lowest tally in a tournament in their history. That's not very good. Well, the Aussie seems like someone who curbs his enthusiasm on the weekdays. Says return. I guess so. Well, I just normally just go about my normal week. Normally I'm pretty much prepping for the weekend during the weekdays though. And excited for all the games that are coming up. That one's going to be thrown in nicely. And Maurice Longbottom. As what exactly are and what level of this new comp. So top 8. Then I believe it's the next 8 or it's the next 6. Oh, could be a yellow card here for the Fijians. But for now, Australia, that's a forward pass. That's a forward pass by about 2 metres. I don't know how everyone missed that one. And it's gone into the hands of the Fijians. Ball was stripped away, but there was a forward pass. I think they're going back for a yellow card. This game is well and truly lost control just for now. And yeah, I think it's 8 for Division 1, maybe 8 for Division 2, and then 6 for Division 3 or something like that. And it just pretty much means that we don't get to see any underdogs play top teams anymore, which sucks, because who doesn't love watching an underdog win? Now, Australia, they're going to go for the quick tap to Rio Valawi. He's been taken off the field for the 2 minutes. They've only got 40 seconds remaining in this first half. Ball on the inside to Dowling, who had good hands because I don't think he expected the pass to come his way. James Turner tries to step. Another big tackle made by Tirawai Langi. Going to try and push him towards the sideline. Over there, maybe they should make soccer goals more than just 1 point for a goal. Like a long-range shot should be 2 points. Maybe he gets 5 and 3 points to make it interesting. Hutchinson out on the wing. Slip there from Manueli Maisamoa, but Georgie Nasova was there to be able to make the next one another advantage. That looked deliberate, and that's going to be Seville Mothanothangi now. Will get sent to the bin for 2 minutes. This game has fallen apart for Fiji, and surely Australia with 7 on 5 from 10 metres out from the line can find a way of scoring. Longbottom going out wide. James Turner drawing past, doesn't need to, scores it himself, and they will get the try at the end of the first half. But who and how are decided to be in the top tier? So pretty much top 8 from this one, the ones playing off for the final, are all tier 1. So Great Britain, Australia, New Zealand, Argentina, South Africa, Fiji, France. There's the other top 8. So that's all confirmed already. No one has the opportunity to go up or down. Some things get slowly ruined by time, like the Sevens format. Absolutely. There was nothing wrong with 16 teams. And if they wanted to really add the promotion relegation, just have it bottom 1 or bottom 2 teams each leg or each year get demoted, and the top 2 from the Challenger Series go up. That's about as easy as it could be. But they decided, no, we need divisions. And we need that no one gets to play random teams anymore. We want it to be all structured and so that people get bored of the same teams playing over and over again. But it will be good for the game, they say. So hopefully they're right. But I don't think it will be for a start anyway. But half-time in this contest, 7 points to 5. I thought we got a yellow. Fiji got 2 in that one. And then they ended up conceding the try right at the end of the first half. Ireland needs to be Division 3. And the thing is, they will be if they end up losing a couple more games. So you go from being the World Rugby Sevens circuit past Division 2 down to Division 3. Like, I don't know how they're going to be able to keep, like, you know, when you see those top sides down in those bottom divisions, they're probably going to lose a lot of their funding and then they'll just never get back up. But, yeah, it's an interesting one. Hopefully they realise the amount of people who say that it's a terrible idea, but they won't, because we saw the amount of people who said it was a bad idea to have 12 teams rather than 16, and they said, hey, we're going to make it 8. We're going to cut it down even in half again from how many teams you wanted. 3 games of the NRL taking place today. I think I will be sleeping through all 3 of them. We have still got another 7 live streams to go of the Sevens, ladies and gentlemen. So if you guys are new, be sure to, of course, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Second half is about to kick off. Maurice Longbottom will get us back underway. 2 yellow cards at the moment in play for the Fijians. So the last thing they want, of course, is to create any sort of space for the Australians to be able to run in, which pretty much is exactly what they have done here. Ikaniaki in the middle of the field going across to the right-hand side. Isley goes to James Turner. Big fend on the Fijians. Now off to the right-hand side. Australia meters out from the try line. Georgina Sova trying for the turnover. That was almost going to be another deliberate knockdown accidentally from Fiji. Maurice Longbottom scores it. How can you not when you're up against 5 players? Have they explained how it'll be good for the game? Not really. They've just said that in terms of the higher up people who wear the suits and make decisions have said that in the long run it's going to add more to the game and going to make more financial sense. I think was the way it's described, but it's just a weird one. A few weeks ago, I was going to make a video about how broken the Sevens circuit was heading into these playoff games, and then they threw that big curveball that made it even worse for next season. But yeah, it's interesting. They are just showing here with Spain beating New Zealand earlier on. This ball was extremely close. Fiji cannot afford to lose this game. If they did, they would actually find themselves in a position where maybe there's no return for a chance at the semi-finals. Getting closer to midnight. My aunt says good night, but not goodbye. Says return. And yes, Aussie coming back. Says JD, and they are currently leading 10 points to 7, I should mention. Hopefully the scoreboard updates at some point. I won't be surprised if GB drops Sevens, as it must be funded by the Olympic Committee. Won't interest the home countries up there. But the thing is, they're still in the top 8. So, like, for GB, I mentioned about it earlier on, they chose the perfect season to play well. Because if they were outside of that top 8, they would have lost their spot. Now, Manuele Mai some more. But it also is a bit rough for the sides who are playing for promotion and relegation. You know, for those teams likes of a Samoa, Portugal, they all thought that they had the big opportunity of busting onto the World Sevens circuit, and that's just been taken away from them. Just showing the live table, the way that it would sit, Fiji would be in last on 2 points, but they have decided to take the quick tap here. 4.5 minutes remaining in this contest. Currently sitting about 25 metres out from the line. Beautiful offload. Fiji needed another one and manages to find it to Rio Vailawa. He should be able to run this one to the try line. It's going to be the slowest foot race, and he gets around him, just teasing the Australian defence. And away refs onsides all day, says JD, but that is going to be the penalty. Yeah, exactly. The Union's not paying for the GB team, says Fleshin. Yeah, it just, I don't understand it. Like, what was wrong with 16 teams? I don't think I heard anyone complaining when we had 16 teams on the circuit. Maybe every once in a while there was a runaway game. But the Sevens world has changed a lot since then. There's a lot more close games now, and you see underdogs winning matches, but now you just don't get that. It's even less teams than they have for the Olympics, I believe, isn't it? I think Olympics we have 12 teams at least, whereas in this, or is it? No, it might only be 8 teams for the Olympics actually, which people would get sick of if it was every week. Nice take or penalty going the way of Fiji for obstruction from the Australians. Henry Hutchinson getting in the ref's face saying that is not correct. But the ref has made his decision. Looks like there is about to be a change. He is pretty much begging here, Henry Hutchinson, for the referee to change his decision. We are going to get to see Fiji in action later on today. Same with Australia. Australia have a Trans-Tasman matchup. And then the Fijians, they will take on the Spanish. If Fiji can win this game, all of the teams will be sitting on pretty much the same points heading into their next matches. So everything will be on the line. Sounds like there's actually going to be an HIA here. Kaniaki's already made his way off the field for head injury assessment earlier on. Okay, Henry Hutchinson's just said that's terrible in the scrum. So definitely not making friends with the ref. You got to be careful doing that because there's still 3 minutes left. And even if it's even just a little bit subconsciously, the ref's not going to want to give you a penalty if you're going to shout in his face when he gives one against you. In fact, he's more likely to give the opposition the penalty for it. Now, setting up for Sevo Mothanafangi, looking for the offload and manages to find it to Teta Wailangi, trying to find his way through, but held on to around the bootlace. Back across to the left now for Felipe Saturanga, change in direction. We haven't actually mentioned that man's name too much throughout this half. Back to the halfway line. Henry Hutchinson is the Nick White of Aussie Sevens. But now, good attack and run. And almost, but still no, another penalty. This time goes against Henry Hutchinson. I don't like to hate too much on World Rugby, but they really have dropped the pill with the Sevens. Yeah, see, I'm the same. I like to say benefit of the doubt. Like, surely they know what they're doing. Like, maybe 5 years from now, the Sevens takes off. But the amount of regulars that they're losing, like looking at the stadium here, for instance, when you limit the teams a little bit, it just, the Vancouver Sevens, for instance, do you still need the Vancouver Sevens if the Canadian men's side aren't even in the main circuit anymore? I think they played like 2 or 3 fun games up against someone else, but, certain locations, it seems to be more money-driven than anything, which, of course, they need to make money, but they also need to slightly listen to the fan base because they're the ones who are going to help them generate the income. Nice run from Georgie Nasova, stepping around here, finds the pass on the outside, another lethal one for the Fijians, 10 metres out from the try line. A try now might just about finish this game. Mothinafangi goes off to Teta Wailangi. That was a terrible offload. He tried to be too fancy, threw it on the inside with the no-look round the back pass. And his team now do not have possession anymore. Low tackle made. James Turner going back across to the left-hand side. Aussies let it slip, says Xander, a little bit. But at the same time, they've still got plenty of time now after that risky Fijian offload. Got a pretty good crack at being able to get one more try. James Turner, he goes through. He's going to be very hard to catch. Great tackle. No, Saturanga gets sold the wrong way. And James Turner, all because of a Teta Wailangi offload, has gone the full length for the field to score. And that is where the Fijian flair can sometimes be a Fijian F-up. And James Turner, he can't even get back to his feet. That is how fatigued he is. But just having to run as hard as he could through the gap. Fiji, it seemed like they had someone back there to be able to defend, and Felipe Saturanga, but he too got sold the wrong way. In fact, it was Nathungu who ended up getting fended off in the end. And 2 words, separate ownership rights, different views on currency, says Blues Nate. And that one is going to now go away to the side, sitting 15 points to 14. Australia with only 5 seconds remaining. A Fijian Superman dove after waste energy. Says Annoy. It's going to be kicked off long by the Aussies. They want to try and get this one out of there. But Fiji have got the ball. They will have to go 95 metres to be able to win this game. Georgie Nasova just trying to fend off Henry Hutchison. Takes it to ground. If they want to make money, why get rid of the London leg and give it to Madrid, says Fleshin. I guess maybe Spain, like it was mentioned, they're pumping a bit of money into the Sevens. Oh, breaking the line here for Fiji. It's going to be a foot race. Ball sits up, taken by Australia. And all they need to do is put this ball into touch. I think there might have been a drop ball on the ground, and that is the advantage and penalty. Fiji, I believe, are now out. I think, because all the other teams have had at least one win. Australia have had 2. Spain and New Zealand have had 1. I don't think Fiji can actually physically go through to the next stage now, unless New Zealand lose awfully. But then it's the head-to-head result. Yeah, I think Fiji are gone. We know South Africa playing again in the Sevens, says Mohadeen. They have got a game taking place in about an hour's time. So be sure, keep an eye out for that. But 2 losses for Fiji, 1 up against Australia, 1 up against New Zealand. They have got a bonus point in both, though, so maybe there's still half a chance that they can sneak in, but it's going to be tough to do. Their next game up against Spain is in 3 hours' time. New Zealand won their first game, lost their second. So they just lost to Spain only moments ago. But the next game that we are doing on the channel, ladies and gents, is actually the men's game between USA and Samoa. It's already started, as it is on the other field. So we will go back and we will start that live stream right now.